TDI exam. A prepaid application for individual disability income insurance was recently submitted to an insurer. When the insurer received the Medical Information Bureau (MIB) report, the report showed that the applicant had suffered a stroke 18 months ago, something that was not disclosed on the application. Which of the following actions would the insurance company not take? Send a notice to the MIB that the applicant was declined. Which federal law allows an insurer to obtain an inspection report on a potential insured? Fair Credit Reporting Act. Upon delivery of a rated life insurance policy, the producer must obtain each of the following except: signed HIPAA disclosure. All of these are characteristics of a health reimbursement arrangement except HRA is entirely funded by the employee. What is considered a valid reason for small businesses to insure the lives of its major shareholders? Fund a buy-sell agreement. P is a 40-year-old woman and would like to purchase an annuity that will provide a lifetime income stream beginning at age 60. Which of the following did she not buy? An immediate annuity. An individual has a major medical policy with a $5,000 deductible and an 80/20ths coinsurance clause. How much will the insured have to pay if a total of $15,000 in covered medical expenses are incurred? $7,000. An insurance company under New York's laws and license to do business in Texas is considered an foreign company. Which of the following claims are typically excluded from medical expense policies? Intentionally self-inflicted injuries. What is the minimum benefit period that must be offered by a long-term care policy? 12 months. Underscore of continuing education must be completed in the classroom or classroom equivalent. 50%. A life insurance arrangement which circumvents insurable interest statutes is called investor-originated life insurance. Nursing home benefits must be provided for at least 12 consecutive months in which of the following types of policies? Long-term care. Group health plans typically contain a coordination of benefits provision. This provision's purpose is to avoid the duplication of benefit premiums. M has an insurance policy that also has an outstanding policy loan at the time of M's death. The insurer will deduct the outstanding loan balance from the policy proceeds. A foreign insurance company conducting insurance business in Texas was formed under the laws of another state. The individual most likely to buy a Medicare supplement policy would be an 68-year-old male covered by Medicare. Which of these statements concerning an individual straight life annuity is correct? Payments are made to an annuitant for life. G is involved in an automobile accident as a result of driving while intoxicated and suffers numerous injuries. According to the intoxicants and narcotics exclusion in G's policy, who is responsible for paying the medical bills? Insured. When will a hearing be held after a notice of hearing, alleging participation in an unfair or deceptive act, is served to a licensee or insurer by the commissioner? No sooner than 6 days. Health insurance benefits not covered due to an act of war are excluded by the insurer in the contract provisions. Which of the following best describes a short-term medical expense policy? Non-renewable. Which unfair trade practice involves an agent telling a prospective client that a policy's dividends are guaranteed? Misrepresentation. Which of these needs is satisfied by adjustable life insurance? Insured's need for flexible premiums. An insurer is not required to provide information on fraudulent claims if requested by an insured. In an individual retirement account, IRA, rollover contributions are not limited by dollar amount. Which of the following actions does the Commissioner of Insurance not have the power to conduct? Activate insurance company's financial reserves. B. An insurance agent tells his clients that their rights may be impaired if they fail to complete a release form within a given period of time. B. May be found guilty of coercion. A policy owner is able to choose the frequency of premium payments through what policy feature? Premium mode. S buys a $50,000 whole life policy with a $50,000 accidental death and dismemberment rider. S dies 1 year later of natural causes. How much will the insurer pay the beneficiary? $50,000. S filed a written proof of loss for a disability income claim on September 1. The insurance company did not respond to the claim. S can take legal action against the insurer beginning November 1. K has a health policy that must be renewed by the insurer and the premiums can only be increased if applied to the entire class of insureds. This type of policy is considered guaranteed renewable. Which of the following types of term life policies most likely contains a renewability feature? 10-year convertible term. An insured must notify an insurer of a medical claim within how many days after an accident? 20 days. An example of an unfair claims settlement practice is turning down a claim without providing the basis of denial. All students attending a large university could be covered by a blanket policy. Which of the following statements best describes dental care indemnity coverage? Services are reimbursed after insurer receives the invoice. One becomes eligible for Social Security disability benefits after having been disabled for 5 months. Which of these is not an example of doing insurance? Selling shares of stock. What is considered to be a characteristic of a conditionally renewable health insurance policy? Premiums may increase at time of renewal. An insurance company would most likely pay benefits under an accidental death and dismemberment policy for which of the following losses? Loss of eyesight due to an accidental injury. The underwriting process involves all of these, except policy loan. The advantage of reinstating an original life policy is the premiums are based on a younger age. Credit life insurances. Issued in an amount not to exceed the amount of the loan. B recently died and was insured with a life insurance policy for over 5 years. During the claims process, the insurer discovered that B had understated his age by 5 years at the time of application. In this situation, the insurer will pay the amount that the premium would have purchased at the correct age. The sections of an insurance contract which limit coverage are called exclusions. Tom has a qualified retirement plan with his employer that is currently considered to be 80% vested. How can this be interpreted? If Tom's employment is terminated, 20% of the funds would be forfeited. An underwriter determines that a life insurance applicant's risk should be reclassified due to a health issue. This policy may be issued with an extra premium. During a sales presentation for a participating life insurance policy, an agent must make a prospect understand that dividends are not guaranteed. If a 10-year term life policy contains a renewability provision, the policy will renew without evidence of insurability. Which of the following characteristics is associated with a large group disability income policy? No medical underwriting. What is the monetary penalty for willfully violating a cease and desist order? Fine up to $500. Which provision allows a portion of any used medical benefits to be restored following a particular amount of benefit has been used, or after the policy has been in effect for a particular period of time? Restoration of used benefit. Which of these actions should a producer take when submitting an insurance application to an insurer? Inform insurer of relevant information not included on the application. T was insured under an individual disability income policy and was severely burned in a fire. As a result, T became totally disabled. The insurer began making monthly benefit payments, but later discovered that the fire was set by T in what was described as arson. What actions will the insurer take? The insurer will rescind the policy, deny the claim, and recover all payments made. Comprehensive major medical policies usually combine major medical with basic hospital/surgical coverage. A whole life insurance policy owner does not wish to continue making premium payments. Which of the following enables the policy owner to sell the policy for more than its cash value? Life settlement contract. An employee is covered under a company group life plan with a $50,000 death benefit. What is the maximum amount a spouse may be insured for under the program? $25,000. S is the policy owner of a major medical policy. The premiums are paid monthly and due on the 1st of each month. S fails to make September's payment and is hospitalized October 15th. When S files the claim for this hospitalization, the insurer will likely deny the claim. K failed to pay a renewal premium within the time granted by the insurer. K then sends in a payment which the insurer subsequently accepts. Which policy provision specifies that coverage may be restored in this situation? Reinstatement. In Texas, which of these statements regarding the suicide clause is true? An insurer may not use suicide as a defense against payment after the second year. T sends proof of loss to her insurer for an acceptable medical expense claim under her individual health insurance policy. Upon receipt, the insurer must pay the benefits immediately. T owns an accident and health policy and notifies her insurance company that she has chosen a less hazardous occupation. Under the change of occupation provision, which of the following actions may her insurance company take? Increase her policy's coverage amount. An applicant must receive an outline of coverage when an application is taken for an Medicare supplement policy. What action can a policy owner take if an application for a bank loan requires collateral? Assign policy ownership to the bank. Which type of renewability best describes a disability income policy that covers an individual until the age of 65, but the insurer has the right to change the premium rate for the overall risk class? Guaranteed renewable. A policy owner would like to change the beneficiary on a life insurance policy and make the change permanent. Which type of designation would fulfill this need? Irrevocable. Which of these life insurance riders allows the applicant to have excess coverage? Term rider. Which of the following organizations would make reimbursement payments directly to the insured individual for covered medical expenditures? Commercial insurer. An insurance company receives E's application for an individual health policy. E did not complete all of the medical history questions because she could not remember the exact dates. E signed the policy and submitted it to the insurance company anyway. A few weeks later, E suffers a heart attack and is hospitalized without completing the medical history questions and paying the initial premium. E is not insured. Which of the following clauses details the conditions that E did not meet? Consideration clause. Which of the following is a valid reason for an enrollee to be cancelled by a HMO plan? Non-payment of coverage. K applies for a life insurance policy on herself and submits the initial premium with the application. She is given a receipt by the agent stating that coverage begins immediately if the application is approved. What kind of receipt was used? Conditional. Which of these provisions is not required in life insurance policies? Extended term. The legal actions provision of an insurance contract is designed to do all of the following except protect the producer. Which contract permits the remaining partners to buy out the interest of a disabled business partner? Disability buy-sell. Which of these statements accurately describes the waiver of premium provision in an accidental and health policy? Premiums are waived after the insured has been totally disabled for a specific time period. J let her life insurance policy lapse 8 months ago due to non-payment. She can re-establish coverage under which of the following provisions? Reinstatement provision. What does Medicare Parts A and B cover? Part A covers hospitalization, Part B covers doctor's services. With whom may an agent split commissions? Another agent with the same line of insurance. Which of these is an element of a variable life policy? A fixed, level premium. A, N, underscore 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 life policy offers the owner investment in products such as money market funds, long-term bonds, and equities. Variable. What is being delivered during a policy delivery? Insurance contract to the proposed insured. Which of the following is not a required provision in group life policies? Right to loan. Which of the following is the most important factor when deciding how much disability income coverage an applicant should purchase? Applicant's monthly income. A Medicare supplement policy may be cancelled for which of the following reasons? The premium has not been paid by the insured. Which of the following statements is correct regarding the tax treatment of a lump sum payment paid to a life insurance policy's primary beneficiary? All proceeds are income tax-free in the year they are received. 3 law partners form a cross-purchase buy and sell agreement. This agreement is funded with individual life insurance. How many total life policies are needed for this agreement? 6. S owns a life insurance policy with cash values that fluctuate according to the underlying investment performance of common stocks. Which of these policies does S own? Variable whole life. Q purchases a $500,000 life insurance policy and pays $900 in premiums over the first 6 months. Q dies suddenly and the beneficiary is paid $500,000. This exchange of unequal values reflects which of the following insurance contract features? Aleatory. Additional coverage can be added to a whole life policy by adding a N. Decreasing term rider. When an employee is required to pay a portion of the premium for an employer/employee group health plan, the employee is covered under which of the following plans? Contributory. An insured covered by a group major medical plan is hospitalized after sustaining injuries that resulted from an automobile accident. Assuming the plan had a $1,000 deductible and an 80/20 coinsurance clause, how much will the insured be responsible to pay with $11,000 in covered medical expenses? $3,000, $1,000 deductible plus 20% of the remaining bill equals $3,000. Which type of life insurance beneficiary requires his/her consent when a change of beneficiary is attempted by the policy owner? Irrevocable beneficiary. A statement made by an insured in an insurance application that must be true to the best of one's knowledge and which becomes a part of the contract is known as representation. Life insurance companies are required to establish and maintain an anti-money laundering compliance program according to which federal regulation? USA Patriot Act. Company XYZ offers a group term life insurance plan to its employees. What does each employee covered under this plan receive? Certificate of insurance. In Texas, an individual life insurance policy is required to have a grace period of 31 days. T was treated for an ailment 2 months prior to applying for a health insurance policy. This condition was noted on the application and the policy was issued shortly afterwards. How will the insurer likely consider this condition? Insurer will likely treat as a pre-existing condition which may not be covered for 1 year. How does a typical variable life policy investment account grow? Through mutual funds, stocks, bonds. The entity whose sole purpose is sharing medical data among its member companies is called the Medical Information Bureau, MIB.